like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to his foot, and grit about the paths with a golden girdle. His head and his hairs were as white like wool, as white as snow. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet like unto brass, as if they were burnt in a furnace. I don't really think they understand. The Messiah was a black man, and the Father got the world in his hands, the world in his hands, the whole world in his hands. I don't really think they understand. The Messiah was a black man, and the Father got the world in his hands, the world in his hands, the whole world in his hands. I don't really think they
I'm an Israelite, I am that light you cannot see through. I bring the scriptures out to feed them, bringing out beast mode. I look at a class to relax me on my leisure. I go to Shabbat and I will not pray to Caesar. I'm a child of the king, so you cannot be my equal. I wear a crown on my head, cause royalty is Israel. Fringes hang low, blue ribbon on my detail. Faith in my people, aka that means faith in Israel. I'm a daughter of a king, yeah. I am. I'm black and royalty, yeah. I'm a daughter of a king, yeah. I'm black and royalty, yeah.
I don't really think they understand. The Messiah was a black man, and the Father got the world in his hands, the world in his hands, the whole world in his hands. I don't really think they understand. The Messiah was a black man, and the Father got the world in his hands, the world in his hands, the whole world in his hands. I don't really think they
giving me the chills when I read the Holy Scripture. You gon' hear me talk about the Most High when I hit you up. Don't got time for idle talk, rather listen to the elders. If a sister breaking the commandments, I'ma tell her. My skin color black, just like the cedars of Lebanon. I got woolly hair, just like my heavenly Father's own son. Eyes are flaming fire, when you come back, you gon' be ready to run. Seeing the Messiah bringing destruction to Babylon. I'm a daughter of a king, yeah. I'm black and royalty, yeah. A daughter of a king, yeah. I'm black and royalty, yeah.
I don't really think they understand. The Messiah was a black man, and the Father got the world in his hands, the world in his hands, the whole world in his hands. I don't really think they understand. The Messiah was a black man, and the Father got the world in his hands, the world in his hands, the whole world in his hands. I don't really think they understand.
Shalom Israel. All praises to the Most High. We give acknowledgement to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We give acknowledgement to the angels of the four pillars and the four branches, the four corners, and the 4 points, the four magical points of the earth. We give acknowledgement to Baal Shem Yahushua HaMashiach Yahweh Shai, and we give acknowledgement to Ruach Aklum Kadash. Michael of the east, Gabriel of the west, Raphael of the south, Uriel of the north. So about 3 weeks ago, we started in the Apocalypse of Abraham, part 1. And in that part, Abraham was, we were talking about, we were reading that Abraham was sick with his father of worshiping false gods. He was going down, selling these gods, making these gods, building these gods, and selling them. Now we're going to get into the part 2 of the Apocalypse of Abraham, which is going to be talking about going into the different angels. After this book, we're going to bring the book of the 72 angels and demons. So each and every one know who their angels are. And we're going to go into how to magically connect with those angels. So, we're going to start. Then a voice came unto me speaking twice. This is the angel. Abraham, Abraham. And I said, Here am I. And he said, Behold, it is I. Fear not, for I am before the worlds, a mighty God, who hath created the light of the world. I am a shield over thee. I am thy helper. Go take me a young heifer of 3 years old, and a she-goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove, and a pigeon, and bring me a pure sacrifice. And in this sacrifice I will lay before thee the ages to come, and make it known to thee what is reserved, and thou shalt see great things which thou hast not seen hitherto. So, that whole thing, how those who have already connected with their angels or connected with the spiritual world, nothing is for free. So when you connect with these spiritual forces, they're going to want things. And this is what the sacrifice is. Sacrifice. The Christian church and Christianity and Catholicism has completely disordered and perverted the term sacrifice. But the term sacrifice is nothing more but payment. Payment for your spiritual, payment for accessing the spiritual world. The spiritual world can only be accessed through blood, and the only payment that the spiritual world accepts is blood, which is why you pick these things and you access the spiritual realm. So, this is going into the revelation. As we talked about already, the things that the Most High spoke unto Abraham. And then for the Most High to give him these secrets, he had to do something for the Most High. He had to pay into the spiritual realm. This is why the Christians and those of the Christian church are nothing but liars. Because they have no access to the spiritual realm. Because first, they haven't shedded the blood to get there. And two, they have been denied all access. The people that have shedded the blood to get there has been you, the children of Israel, the slaves that shedded your blood, and the ancestors, their blood that has shedded upon this earth. It's a powerful thing when blood hits the ground. People don't understand the significance of blood hitting the ground, and especially the Christian church. So when blood hits the ground, payment is made unto the spiritual realm. It's just like, for me, it was the day of my car crash 10 years ago. The day of my car crash 10 years ago where I lost everything. Lost the houses, lost the cars, lost lawsuits, lost the cases in court and out of court. We didn't just lose the cases in the physical court, in the physical realm. We also lost the cases that God had against us in the court, heavily in the spiritual realm. And in those, because we lost those court cases, because we lived a wicked life with the wicked and among the wicked. But when you are one of the chosen and one of the children of the righteous and you are among the wicked, the Most High is always going to pull you out. But that's going to come with payment. Your blood must touch the ground. Which is why during that car crash, my blood indeed touched the ground, which was payment for the spiritual realm. And once that car crash happened, it began to open up access between me and the spiritual realm. Which is why we are actually here today, being able to connect in the spiritual realm and understanding. And it was thanks to those channels that actually brought, these things were already here, but they brought those things to the forefront. And the addresses and the systematic, the chronological lineup matched everything. So this is where we are. Because thou hast loved to search me out. So basically the Most High saying, thou hast loved me enough to search me out. And I have named thee my friend. But abstain from every form of food that proceedeth out of the fire, and from the drinking of wine, and from the anointing thyself with oil for 40 days. This is what we call a fast. So basically, the Most High told Abraham to go on a 40-day fast. And then set forth for me the sacrifice which I have commanded thee, and to the place of which I will shew thee on a high mountain, and there I will shew thee the ages which have been created and established, made and renewed by my word. And I will make known to thee that what shall come to pass, and on those, what shall come to pass in them and on those who have done evil. Here it is parenthesized, practice righteousness in generation of men. So, the Lord is specifically calling out an evil people who use these powers and use these forces without, one, pain, and two, without going through the proper steps. The white man took your magic, he took your powers, and not just him, but all the nations that got with him, took those magics, took those powers, but instead of shedding their own blood, they shedded yours. So now that blood that was shedded upon the earth is now cried out to the earth, because blood is powerful. The Christian church, they talk about, oh, the blood, there's power in the blood of Jesus. That's bullshit. Blood itself is the most powerful currency in the spiritual world. Period. So when Yahweh's blood touched the earth, that sealed the contract that payment must be made with blood. And it came to pass, when I heard a voice. Now this is Abraham under the direction of angel Joel. Joel is one of the angels in the book of the 72 angels. And he has specific tasks, he has specific attributes, and you can call and you can call upon him, and you can use him to do certain things. And it came to pass, when I heard the voice of him who spake such words unto me, I looked hither and thither, and lo, there was no breath of a man. And my spirit was affrighted, and my soul fled from me, and I became like a stone, and fell down upon the earth. For I had no strength to stand on earth, and while I was still lying with my face up upon the earth, I heard the voice of the Holy One speaking, Go, Joel, and by means of my ineffable name, raise me yonder man, and strengthen him. Raise me yonder man, and strengthen him, so that he may recover from his trembling. And the angel came. So basically, well, let me finish this. And the angel came, whom he had sent to me in likeness of man, and grasped me by the hand, and set upon my feet, and said to me, Stand up, Abraham, friend of God, who loveth thee. Let not the trembling of men seize thee. For lo, I have been sent to thee to strengthen thee, and bless thee in the name of the God of Abraham, who loveth thee, and the creator of the celestial and the terrestrial. Be fearless, and hasten to him. I am called Joel, by him who moveth that which is existed with me on seventh expanse upon the firmament, a power of virtue. So we're going to stop right there and explain that. So Abraham heard this voice, looked around, couldn't see anything, but because of the energy was so strong and the powers are so strong, he died. So the Most High said to the angel Joel, pick him up. He's just a human. Basically, he's just a feelable human, silly human. So every time your angel approach you and you drop, they laugh, because it's like, you silly little human. So he picks him up, brings him back up, and says, I am the angel that the Lord High sent unto you. You are his friend. You are favored by him. You loved him enough to search him out. And I am the angel that was there created on the seventh day, the seventh expanse of the firmament. This is again what the Christian church refuses to teach. There are 7 levels to heaven. That's like in heaven there are 12 gates. And those 12 gates are for the 12 tribes of Israel. So there's a lot to this that the Christian church completely left out, because as I said in the last video, especially on TikTok, which you can find at the Michael League 144, Scoops 144, and we had to put the 144 after the Michael League because I just found out that my channel was banned and shadow banned, and no one can find it because there is this white man, the Michael League, whatever crap he's doing or whatever he is. He's not important. We're more important than he is here. So we have to change the name, put 144 after the name so it can be found. All right? The seventh expanse, the firmament, a power and virtue and an ineffable name that is dwelling in me. I am he who have given to restrain according to his commandment the threatening attack of the living creatures of the cherubim against one another, to teach those who carry him the song of the seventh hour of the night of man. I am ordained to restrain the Leviathan, for unto me are a subject to attack the menace of every reptile. So this is the angel that the Most High uses to restrain all of his wild beasts that he has to come out to devour the wicked in the day of, which is this is that day of. We are in those days that the Most High was talking to the Abraham about, where he's going to have his angels release these monsters of the sea, the monsters of the air, the monsters of the land, the monsters of the forest, the monsters of the caves, these monsters. And they're going to come out and they're going to be a menace and they're going to devour the wicked. They're going to eat them. They're going to devour their children. They're going to eat their children. You're already seeing it among Edom and among the wicked. They go to the beach, they get eaten by sharks. They go to the hot woods, they get eaten by something that's in the woods. They go underwater, they get eaten by what's underwater. They go into the sky, their planes get knocked out the sky, they get eaten by whatever's in the sky. This is no joke for the wicked. This is no joke for the white man. Horrific, horrible things are coming upon him. Reptile, excuse me. By the living creatures. Reptile. By the living creatures of the cherubim are meant the holy, who are especially identified 4 in number, each with 4 faces, and are the bearers of the divine throne. Apparently they are not here represented as a threatening aspect of danger. Here, so this is just describing all of that. So, Hades, to destroy him that stareth at the dead. I am one who was commissioned to set fire to thy father's house, together with him, because he displayed reverence for the dead idols. So, this is the angel not only that is restraining God's beast, God also has his angels who he has goes to destroy the earth and to destroy the wicked of the earth. And so this angel is telling Abraham that I am the angel that set fire to your daddy's house because the Most High commanded me to, because he worshiped dead idols and therefore he needed to die. So I am the angel that killed your daddy. See, this is no joke. When we say that we would send our angels to kill you, to burn down your houses, to crash your cars, to knock your planes out the sky, to knock your trains off the track, to make your children sick and feeble. These are the angels that will go do those things. And I have been sent to thee to bless. I have been sent to bless thee now, and the land which the Eternal One, whom thou hast invoked, have prepared for thee. For thy sake I have wended my way upon the earth. Stand up, Abraham. Go without fear. Be right, glad, and rejoice. And I am with thee. For eternal honor have prepared thee by the Eternal One. Go, fulfill the sacrifices commanded. For lo, I have appointed to be with thee, and with the generation prepared to spring from thee. And with me Michael, the archangel Michael, bless thee forever. Be of good cheer. And I rose up, and I saw him who have grasped me by my right hand, and set me up upon my feet. And the appearance of his body was like sapphire, and it looks like the countenance, the appearance of his body was like sapphire, and the look of his countenance like chrysolite, and the hair of his head like snow, and the turban upon his head like the appearance of a rainbow, and the clothing of his garments like purple, and a golden scepter was in his right hand, a magical wand. And he said to me, Abraham. And I said, Here am I thy servant. And he said, Look, let not my look affright thee, nor my speech that nor my speech that so be not perturbed. Come with me, and I will go with thee until the sacrifice visible. But after the sacrifice, invisible forever. Be of good cheer and come. And we went, the two of us together, 40 days and nights, and I ate no bread and drank no water, because my food was to see the angel who was with me, and his speech, that was my drink. And when we came to the mount of God, the glorious Horeb, and I said to the angel, Singer of the Eternal One, Lo, I have no sacrifice with me, nor am I aware of the place of the altar on the mountain. How can I bring this sacrifice? And he said to me, Look around. And I looked around, and lo, there were following us all of the prescribed sacrificial animals: the young heifer, the she-goat, the ram, and the turtle dove, and the pigeon. And the angel said to me, Abraham. I said, Here I am. And he said to me, All of these slaughter and divide the animals into halves, one against the other. But the birds do not sever, but give to men whom I've shew thee standing by thee, for these are the altar upon my mountain, to offer a sacrifice to the Eternal. But the turtle dove and the pigeon gave to me, for I will ascend upon the wings of the bird, in order to shew thee heaven, and on earth, and in sea, and in abyss, and the underworld, and in the garden of Eden, and its rivers, and its fullness of the whole world, and its circle, thou shalt gaze in them all. So these places are real. The Garden of Eden is in the underworld. There are underworlds beneath us. There are grounds underneath us. There are grounds, and there are cities and cities and kingdoms in the sky. There are cities and kingdoms in the water. There are cities and kingdoms underground. There are cities and kingdoms everywhere. And the Most High has access to certain people that can get to these cities and these kingdoms. The white man has been trying, but he has no access. Since he has no access, he just says they don't exist. Oh, they exist. You just can't get to them. Abraham accomplishes the sacrifice under the guidance of the angel and refuses to be diverted from his purpose by Azazel, another angel. And I did everything according to the commandment of the angel, and gave the angels who have come to us. Basically, he said he paid those angels. The divided animals come to us, the divided animals, but the angel took the birds. And I waited for the evening sacrifice, and there flew an unclean bird down upon the carcasses. And I drove it away. And the unclean bird spake to me and said, What doest thou, Abraham, upon the holy heights, where no man eateth or drinketh, neither is there upon them any food of man, but those consume everything with fire will burn thee up. Forsake the man who is with thee, and flee. For if thou ascendest to the heights, they will make an end of thee. And it will come to pass, when I saw the bird speak, I said to the angel, What is this, my Lord? And he said, This is ungodliness. This is Azazel. And he said to it, Disgrace upon thee, Azazel, for Abraham's lot is in heaven, but thine upon the earth, because thou hast chosen and loved this for the dwelling place. And the thine of cleanness, therefore the eternal mighty Lord made thee a dweller upon the earth. And though thee every evil spirit of lies, and through thee wrath and trials for generation of ungodly men. For God the eternal mighty have not permitted that the bodies of the righteous shall be in thy land, in order that thereby the life of the righteous and the destruction of the unclean may be as assured. So, basically, he's in that little bit, basically he's just saying that you are among wicked and unclean. That whole bird coming down was a symbol of unclean things that are upon the earth, yada, yada, yada. And this is just the difference between the righteous and the unclean. The unclean is going to be slaughtered, and the righteous is going to be used for sacrifices. Well, the Most High. Bad for generations. Here, friend, be gone with shame from me, for it hath not been given thee to play the tempter in regard to all the righteous. So, it's not his part to play the person that tempts the righteous. Depart from this man. Thou canst not lead him astray, because he is an enemy to thee. And those who follow thee love what thou willest. For behold, the vesture which is in heaven was formerly thine, been set aside for him, and the mortality of which was have been transferred unto thee. There we go. So basically he's saying that the righteous cannot be tempted by the wicked. And this is why we were able to be tempted by the Christian church, Catholicism, and all those fallen gods, because we were wicked. Once we came out of our wickedness, we were no longer able to be enticed or tempted by the Catholic Church and the Christian Church. And they still try, because they come on our platforms with that Christianity bullshit. And we shoo them away. Get away from me, you demon. Get away. You worship dead gods because you are dead. You are not living. We are among the living temples. We are living. You are dead. You serve dead gods, which means you are dead. The angel said to me, Abraham. And I said, Here I am, thy servant. And he said, Know from henceforth that the Eternal One hath chosen thee, he whom thou lovest. Be of good courage, and use this authority so far as I bid thee against him who standeth truth, as I bid thee against him who slanders truth. And should I not be able to put him to shame, who have scattered over the earth the secrets of heaven, and have rebelled against the Mighty One? Say unto him, Be thou the burning coal of the furnace of the earth. Go, Azazel, into the accessible parts of the earth. So this part is talking about the wicked and the white man in the Christian church, the Catholic church, the Catholic church. Because they took all these secrets of heaven and they completely hid them. That's the ones that they did not rewrite, re-edit, revise, or completely erase altogether. They hid them. And for that, the Catholic Church, the Christian Church, the Muslim synagogue, or the Muslim mosque, and the Jewish synagogue, all those priests, all those pastors, all those people that worship inside those places, because of this, their blood must touch the ground. They must be killed. Abraham and the angel ascend on the wings of the birds to heaven. And it came to pass, when the sun went down, and lo, a smoke as a furnace, and the angels who had the portions of the sacrifice ascended from the top of the smoky furnace. An angel took me with the right hand, and set me upon the right wing of the pigeon, and set himself on the left wing of the turtle dove, which birds have neither been slaughtered nor divided. And he bore me to the borders of the flaming fire, on a height to which we ascended, a strong light, which it was impossible to describe. Lo, in this light a fiercely burning fire for people, many people of male appearance, all constantly changing in aspect and form, and running and being transformed, and worshiping and crying with the sound of words which I knew not. This is the Christian and Catholic Church once again. These are those men, those high priests, those high prophets, those high magicians of the Catholic Church, Christian Church, Muslim mosques, and Jewish synagogues. These are those men that are going to be burning in the furnace. So the Most High already showed him their destruction. And these are the same men who continuously change their appearance. I think we all know what that means. And I said to the angel, why? And so, and at the end of that, and crying with the sound of words which I knew not. So all the words that they spoken, all these visions that they claimed they had, and the Lord told me, and the Lord said this, and the Lord said that. Those are the words the Lord said. I know none of that shit, none of that garbage. That's all garbage. They're speaking nothing but garbage. And he said to me, remain by me, fear not, and he whom thou seest come straight towards us with great voice of holiness. That is the eternal one who loveth thee, but himself thou cannot see. Let not thy spirit grow faint, for I am with thee. Abraham, taught by the angel, utters the celestial song and prayers for enlightenment. So, acid reflux. All the people, and I just ate rally, so that's really what's messing it up right now. Anyway, so Abraham is being taught by the angels. So all of those people that are in the knowledge, all of us, this is not really worldly knowledge. We're being taught by angels and Holy Spirits, and we're being taught by other people who are being taught by angels and spirits and the Holy Spirit, and yada, 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 so forth and so on. And while he spake, and lo, fire came against us around about, and a voice was in the fire, like a voice of many waters, like the sound of the sea in its uproar. And the angel bent his head with me in worship. And I desired to fall down upon the earth, and the high place on which we stood, but at another road downwards. And he said, only worship, Abraham, and utter the song which I have taught thee, because there was no earth to fall upon. And I worship and only uttered the song which he had taught thee. And he said, recite without ceasing. And I recited, and he also himself with me recited the song. Eternal, mighty, holy Al, God only supreme, thou who art self-originated, incorruptible, spotless, uncreate, immaculate, immortal, self-complete, self-illuminating, without father, without mother, unbegotten, exalted, fiery one. And you can say this in Hebrew and in Latin. Lover of men, benevolent, bountiful, jealous over me, and very compassionate. Elah, that is my God, eternal, mighty, holy Sabaoth, very glorious, El, J-O-L. Thou art whom my soul have loved. Eternal protector, shining like fire, whose voice is like thunder, whose look is like lightning, all-seeing, who receiveth the prayers of the righteous, of such as honor thee. And in thy heavenly dwelling place there is no need of any other light than that of the unspeakable splendor from the lights of thy countenance, except my prayer. Likewise also the sacrifice which thou hast prepared thee, me who sought thee. Accept me favorably, and shew me, and teach me, and make me known to thy servant as thou hast promised thee. Abraham's vision of the divine throne. The warring up, we done skipped all the way down. And while I recited the song, the mouth of the fire which was on the surface rose and high, And I heard the voice like a roaring of the sea, nor did it cease on account of the rich abundance of the fire. And as the fire raised itself up, ascending into the height, I saw under the fire a throne of fire, and round about it seeing ones reciting a song, and under the throne 4 fiery living creatures, singing, and their appearance was each of one of them with 4 faces. And such was the appearance of their countenance, of a lion, of a man, of an ox, and of an eagle. 4 heads, and each had 6 wings from their shoulders, in their sides, in their loins. And with 2 wings from their shoulders, they covered their faces. With the 2 wings which sprang from their loins, they covered their feet. And with the 2 middle wings, they spread out for flying straight forward. And when they had ended the singing, they looked at one another and threatened one another. And it came to pass, when the angel who was with me saw that they were threatening each other, he left me and went running to them, and turned the countenance of the living creature from the countenance immediately, confronting him in order that they might not see their countenances threatening each other. And he taught them a song of peace, which had its origin in the Eternal One. And as I stood alone, I looked, and I saw behind the living creatures a chariot with fiery wheels, each wheels full of eyes round about. And over the wheels was a throne which I saw, and this was covered with fire, and it circled in it about it. And lo, indescribable, fine, environed a fiery host. And I heard his holy voice, like the voice of a man. God discloses to Abraham the powers of heaven. And a voice came to me out of the midst of the fire, saying, Abraham, Abraham. I said, Here I am. And he said, Consider the expenses which are under the firmament, the earth, on which thou art. Now place and see on no single expanse is there any other, but he whom thou hast sought, and who have loved thee. And while he was yet speaking, and lo, the expanses opened, the expanses opened, and beneath me the heavens. So the sky opened, and I saw open the 7th firmament, which I stood a fire whitely, extended and light and dew, and a multitude of angels, and the power of an invisible glory over the living creatures which I saw. But no other being did I see there. And I looked from the mountains, because the Most High said no man goes to his throne, which is another debunks of that Christianity garbage. Oh, you're going to heaven. We're going to heaven with Jesus. That is a lie. The Bible don't say no garbage about that. And I looked from the mountain in which I stood downwards to the 6th firmament, and saw there were a multitude of angels of pure spirit without bodies, who carried out the commands of the fiery angels who were upon the 8th firmament, as I was standing suspended over them. And behold, upon this firmament there were no other powers. There were no other powers of any other form, but angels of pure spirit, like the power which I saw on the 7th firmament. And he commanded that the 6th firmament should be taken away. And I saw there on the 5th firmament the powers of the stars, which carry out the commands laid open upon them, and the elements of the earth obeyed them. So the Lord is giving you stratospheres, atmospheres, and where each part of the heavens is at. This is what the white man calls space. This is another example on why he did not go to the moon. It's just physically impossible. Because first you have to go through all those angels. Second, you're going to have to go through all those firmaments. And thirdly, you're going to have to go through God himself. Sit your ass down. Sit yourself down, white man. You didn't do none of that. Sit down. Because if you were able to do that, then with this destruction that's being brought to the earth, you would have been gone a long time ago. The promise of his seed. And the Eternal Mighty One said to me, Abraham, Abraham. And I said, here I am. And he said, consider from above the stars which are beneath thee, and the number of them, and make known their number. And I said, when can I? For I am but a man of dust and ashes. And he said to me, as the number of the stars and their power, so will I make thy seed a nation and a people, set apart for me in my heritage with Azazel. These are the children of Abraham, the children of Israel. Now we're getting into how the children of Israel were made and created. And which is, again, debunks that Christianity bull garbage. Oh, we're all the human race. We're all children of God. Wrong. Some of you are children of the devil. But this people is God's holy children that he set apart for himself. And I said, O Eternal Mighty One, let thy servant speak before thee, and let not thine anger be kindled against thy chosen one. Lo, before thou leadest me up, Azazel, inveigh against me. How then, while he is not now before thee, hast thou constituted thyself with him? So basically, how is he not with you, but yet you were able to constitute yourself, align yourself with him? A vision of sin, paradise, and a mirror of the world. These are the secrets that's being released unto Abraham. And he said to me, look now beneath thy feet at the firmaments and understand the creation foreshadowed. In this expanse to create the creatures existing on it, and the age prepared according to it. And I saw beneath the surface of the feet, and I saw beneath the sixth heaven, what was therein. And there the earth is its fruits, which would move upon it, and its animate beings, and the power of its men, and the ungodliness of their souls, and their righteous deeds. So you saw everything about man, everything about the earth, and everything about the inhabitants on the earth. He saw the wickedness of man, the ungodliness of man, and he also saw the righteous. And the lower regions, and the perdition therein, the abyss and its torments. And I saw there the sea, and its islands, and its monsters, and its fishes, and the Leviathan, and his dominion, and his camping ground, and his caves, the world which lay upon him, and his movements, and the destructions of the world on his account. I saw their streams, and the rising of the waters, and their windings. And I saw there the Garden of Eden, and its fruits, the source of the stream issuing from it, and its trees in their bloom. And those who behave righteously, I saw their fruits and blessedness. And I saw there a great multitude of men and women and children, half of them on the right side, and half of them on the left. The fall of man and its sequel. And I said, O Eternal Mighty One, what is the picture of creatures? And he said to me, this is my will with regard to those who exist in the divine world council. And it seemed well pleasing before my sight. And then afterwards I gave commandment to them through my word. And it came to pass, wherever I had determined to be was already planned beforehand. And it stood before me, and it was created as it has thou seen. And I said, O Lord, mighty and eternal, who are the people in this picture on this side and on that? And he said unto me, these which are on the left side are the multitude of the peoples which have formerly been in existence, and which are after thee, destined, some for judgment and some for judgment, and some for restoration, others for vengeance, and some for destruction, at the end of the world. But these which are on the right side of the picture, they are the people set apart for me of the peoples with Azazel. These are they whom I have ordained to be born of thee, and to be called my people. These are you, the Negroes. So why you have people on the left side, all these people, the wicked, the righteous, blah, 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 the people that are going to be judged, the people that are going to live, the people that are going to be redeemed, the people that are going to be killed, the people that are going to be left alive. And then here on this right side, you have the people that God has chosen to be completely rid of that entire side. Again, Christianity leaves all of this out because none of that matters. And he said it to me. These are, yeah. Now look again in the picture. Who is it who seduced Eve? And what is the fruit of the tree? And thou wilt know there shall be, and how it shall be to thy seed among the people at the end of days of age. And so far as thou cannot understand, I will make known to thee. For thou art well pleasing in my sight, and I will tell thee what is kept in my heart. And I looked into the picture, and my eyes ran to the side of the Garden of Eden. And I saw there a man very great in height, and fearful in breadth, incomparable in aspect, embracing a woman, who likewise approximated to the aspect and the shape of the man. And they were standing together under the tree of the Garden of Eden. And the fruit of this tree was like the appearance of a bunch of grapes of the vine. And behind the tree was standing as if there were a serpent in form, having hands and feet like a man's, and wings on his shoulders, 6 on the right side and 6 on the left. And they were holding grapes of the tree, and in their hands, and both were eating it, whom I have seen embracing. And I said, Who are these mutually embracing? Or who is this? And who is this? Who is between them? Or what is the fruit that they are eating, Almighty and Eternal One? And he said, This is the human world. This is Adam. And this is their desire upon the earth. This is Eve. But he who is between them representeth ungodliness, their beginning, to perdition, even Azazel. And I said, O eternal, mighty, holy one, why hast thou given such power to destroy the generation of man in their works upon the earth? And he said to me, They who will do evil, and how much I hated it, and to those who would do it, over them I give him power to be beloved of them. And I answered, and he said, O mighty eternal one, wherefore thou hast willed to the effect that evil shall be desired in the hearts of men. So basically the Lord said, I set all this up to be this way. And Abraham is saying, well, basically you set the whole world up to be evil then. And I answered and said to thee, Almighty Eternal One, wherefore hast thou willed the effect that evil shall be desired in the hearts of men, since thou indeed art anchored over that which is willed by thee, and at him who is doing which is unprofitable in thy counsel, the courts of heaven. As we talked about before, thy counsel, thy courts of heaven, these things are real. As on earth, so is in heaven. There's a court on earth, there's a court in the heavens. And he said to me, being angry at the nations, and I answered the Almighty over here, yeah. See, we did that, but boom, being unprofitable in thy counsel. And he said unto me, being angered at the nations on thy account, and on the account of the people of thy family, who are to be separated after thee. As thou seest in the picture, the burden of destiny is laid upon them. And I will tell thee what it shall be, and how much shall be in the last days. Look now at everything in the picture. And I looked and saw what was before me in creation. And I saw Adam and Eve existing with him, and with them a cunning adversary, and Cain, who acted lawlessly through the adversary, and slaughtered Abel. The destruction brought and caused upon him through the lawless one. I saw that there was no impurity. There's also impurity in those who lust after it, and its pollution, and their jealousy, and the fire of their corruption in the lowest parts of the earth. I saw there death, and those who hastened after it, and arrangement of their retribution, the judgment of the great Azazel. I saw there naked men, the foreheads against each other, their disgrace and their passion which they had against each other, and their retribution. I saw their desire, and in their hand, the head of every kind of lawlessness. And I saw there the likeness of the idol of jealousy, Jesus Christ, and all the idols throughout the earth. Now, all the idols throughout the earth, they all take on the same attributes and the same things. They follow the same story. They follow a virgin birth. They follow a crucifixion. And they follow a resurrection. All the fallen gods of the earth follow the same thing. Jesus Christ is no different. He's another fallen god that follows the same precept. And in Jesus Christ, his king is Baal. And I saw there the likeness of the idol of jealousy, having a likeness of a woodwork. There you go. Such as my father was wont to make, and its statue was of glittering bronze. And there before it a man, and he worshipped it. And in front of him an altar, and upon it a boy slain in the presence of the idol. But I said unto him, what is this idol? Or what is this altar? And who are they that are sacrificed? And who is the sacrifice? And what is this temple? Which I see that is beautiful in art, and its beauty, the glory that lieth beneath thy throne. And he said, hear, Abraham, this which thou seest, the temple and the altar and the beauty, is my idea of the priesthood of my glorious name, which dwelleth in every single prayer of man, and the rise of kings and prophets, and whatever sacrifice I ordain to be offered among my people, who are to come out of thy generation. But the statue which thou sawest is mine anger, wherewith the people angered me, who are to proceed for me from thee. But the man who thou sawest slaughtering, that is he who inciteth murderous sacrifices, which are a witness to me of the final judgment, even at the beginning of creation. So, Abraham is asking, who is all these people at this altar worshiping this altar? And the Most High is saying, first of all, that altar, that idol is my anchor. Because remember, he sentences people to 400 years of captivity, where they should serve fallen gods of wood and stone. And that fallen god of wood is the Most High's anger. Because you angered me, now I'm going to make you serve the enemies of your God. And they're going to slaughter you when you refuse to serve that God. And that God, that fallen God, is again your Christian God, that white devil Jesus, Allah, and whoever the Jewish people call their God. Those are the fallen gods, because they're all the same people. They have different names, but Jesus, Allah, and the Jewish God, the fake Jewish God, all those gods are the same gods. The same fallen gods. Why sin is permitted. And I said, O eternal mighty one, wherefore thou hast established that it should be so, and then proclaim the knowledge thereof. And he said, oh, excuse me, that was a question. And I said, O eternal mighty and holy one, wherefore thou hast established it, that it shall be, and then proclaimed it to the knowledge thereof. He said unto me, Hear, Abraham, understand why I say to thee, and answer me as I question thee. Why did thy father Terah not listen to thy voice? And why did he not cease from this devilish idolatry until he perished, and his whole household with him? And I said, O eternal mighty and holy one, entirely because he did not choose to listen to me, but I did not follow his works. And then he said unto me, Hear, Abraham, as the counsel of my father is in him, and as thy counsel is in thee, so also is the counsel of my will in me ready for the coming days, before thou hast knowledge of these, or canst see with thy eyes what is the future in them. How those of thy seed will be, look in the picture, a vision of judgment and salvation. So that whole thing was, why is sin permitted? Why does the Most High allow sin to be permitted? Because he proclaimed it and he annulled it. It's supposed to be that way. It's supposed to be the wicked, because there's a few dialogues later on where Abraham is just so tired of looking at the wickedness, he begins to himself go down and begins to cause confusion and disruption in the synchronized plan by punishing the wicked. And the angel had to stop him and bring him back and say, stop that. And Abraham is like, look at what they're doing. Just like me. Look at what they're doing. They all must be punished. They all must be killed. And they must be killed and punished right now. And the angel said, no, they must continue to do what they're doing, because in their wickedness, it is righteous. A vision of judgment and salvation. And I looked and saw, lo, the picture swayed, and from it emerged on its left side a heathen people. Okay. Ooh, I need a cigarette for this one. Ooh wee. Because now it's getting good. This is the introduction of the white man. The heathen people. And all the nations of Psalm 83 that got with the white man. Ishmael, the Indians, and the Arabs. The Hamites, the Africans. The Moab, the Moabites, the Chinese. The Hagarenes, whoever the hell those people are. And all those other people of Psalm 83. But the nations we know are Ishmael, because we see them every day. The Arabs and the Indians. Moab, the Chinese, we see them every day. Edom, the Edomites, we see them every day. The white man. And the Hamites, the African, we see them every day. But the other nations are hidden. Well, not hitting, but those people hit themselves by changing their name. So we don't exactly know who they are. Okay? A heathen people. And they pillaged those who were on the right side. Men and women and children. And they slaughtered them. Others they retained with themselves as slaves. Lo, I saw them run towards them through 4 entrances. Now, Deuteronomy goes into the 4 entrances. The Lord says that thou shalt run. And every way that thou shalt run, I will send thy enemy that way. When we tried to run from the conquering and the pillaging of this white devil, the Most High sent him in every direction, in every corner, on horses, on ships, on planes, and from every way. This was the destruction. I saw them run towards them through 4 entrances, and they burnt the temple with fire and the holy things, because this is what they did in 1200s, 1300, 1400, 1500, 1600, 1700, 1800. Since the white man came out of the caves, the first thing he did was rape, murder, and pillage. He burnt down all of your holy temples. He burnt all your holy books. And the ones of that he did not burn, and the temples he could not destroy because they were magically built, he took them. Those are what those old churches, those old buildings, those old structures that the white man cannot build today. Notice how all the churches he built today never look like the churches that were built way back in the 16, 15, 16, 1700s. Why is that? Because he didn't build them. That's why. They were there before he got out the caves. He just stole it and put his name on it. The Church of Christ. The Church of Presbyterian, garbage. The Church of this, garbage. The Church of that, garbage. He set it on fire, and the holy things that were therein they plundered. And I said, O eternal, holy, and mighty one, the people that sprang from me, thou hast accepted the hordes of the heathen do plunder. And some they kill, while others they hold fast as aliens. There go that word the white man loves using, illegal aliens. See, this is why he continues to use these words, because he knows who he is. The white man knows that he is the devil that these books speak of. And he knows that his destruction that these books speak of is here. Because he is the original alien that was upon the earth. An alien is nothing more than a stranger. Someone who is not recognized upon that land. A slave. Because the slaves are not recognized or classified as citizens. Which is why when we came out of slavery, America never classified Negroes as citizens. What they did was they classified you as African American, which means alien. That's what you're still classified as to this day, an alien. You're not an illegal alien, but you're an alien, according to the United States government and the documents of the United States government. They do rob, they do rob. And he said to me, Hear, Abraham, what thou hast seen shall happen on account of thy seed, who anger me by reason of statue which thou sawest on the account of the human slaughter in the picture through Zal. And in the temple as thou sawest, so shall it be. And I said, O eternal mighty one, may the works of evil wrought and ungodliness now pass by, but show me rather those who fulfilled the commandments, even the works of his righteousness, for thou canst do this. And he said to me, the time of righteous meeteth them, first through the holiness flowing from kings and the righteous dealing rulers, whom I have first created in order from such to rule among them. But from these issue men who care for their interests, as I have made known to thee, and thou hast seen. How long will be where we start next, and we are still in part 2 of this. Correct. We are still in part 2 of this. We had a minute, hour 4. And we're going to stop there. So now we got into that Abraham's father was worshiping idols. And the Most High sent angels to burn his house down and kill his father. Abraham is now being taken on a tour, essentially a celestial tour. And in order to get that celestial tour, Abraham had to make payments with blood. The blood of his sacrifices had to touch the earth. And he went on his celestial tour. And that celestial tour, he was able to see the future, the destruction of his people, his seed. He was able to see his seed go into captivity. He was able to see all the horrible things that happened unto his seed. And he was able to see the destruction of the people who took his seed into captivity, took his seed as slaves, and he was able to see their destruction as well. How long is where we're going to start next? We give all praises to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We give all praises to the angels of the four quarters, the four pillars, the four branches, the four magical points of the earth. Michael of the east, Gabriel of the west, Raphael of the south, Uriel of the north. We give acknowledgement to Baha Hashem Yahushua HaMashiach Yahweh Shai. We give acknowledgement to Rahuach Aklam Kadash. We give acknowledgement to my guardian angels, who's responsible for all of these things as well. Raquel and Pael, Gabriel and Michael. Salah so be it. Shalom, shalom.